We have our first person is Lucky. So Lucky will come up and set up.
Thank you, Sasha.
Awesome. I'm going to get out of the frame here.
Oh, so we'll switch it for you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I've got some slides that I will talk in front of for a bit.
Okay. There you go. So if you want to put it in the full screen or presenter mode.
Yeah, I'm going to do slideshow mode.
And then also click on the hide button for that thing.
Or that. Oh, okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
You don't have permission to play two media objects in this presentation.
Oh, you must have like videos in your.
I do.
If you want to send, you can. Yeah, go for it. If you want to go send me like permissions, and then.
While we're waiting, I'm just going to say that a special thanks to New Media Manitoba and Studio Lab XR for letting us use their space. We don't want to overlook that. So yeah.
That's the same link that I sent you, but I gave you editor access. I don't know if that's going to make a difference. If it does not, then
Oh,
I'll
it's
just
with
from my.
Or just make it like viewable to anyone. That's do that instead.
Okay.
This is not to it's not signed into my Google account.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be easier if we can do that.
What? Auto advanced slides. I sent you one last link. I'm not sure if this is going to be. Oops. Oh,
You go to the Discord, and then
okay. Oh. I think that's going to work.
awesome.
All right. F11 to full screen. Wonderful. All right. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with me for that. I'm going to talk about my game Single Feather, a charming platformer about a duck and a scientist who don't get along. They're natural enemies, ducks and scientists. And there have been some releases so far, and there's still more to come. First, I'll introduce myself. My name is Lucky Adams. I'm a software developer. I do QA, software testing, and art and animation. I do everything for this game. Whoops. And I like to say that solo game development is a hard way to make easy money. You're not breaking a sweat, you're not dealing with angry customers or hurting your body, but so in that way it's easy, but it's hard because most people don't make much money from it. And I know because I released a commercial game in 2019 that didn't make very much money. It's called Seabird's End of an Age. It's a piracy game about trying to find treasure. Throughout the presentation I have these like QR codes. If you want to scan, you can go to the game and find it, but unless there are any objections, I'm usually just going to move on pretty fast. Stay on time. Atmosphere and Freerider 2 were two really big inspirations for my game Single Feather. They're both these games that are centered around like user-generated content and making levels. Atmosphere is like a 3D platformer where you just have some starting point and end point that you're trying to get to beat the level, and then a bunch of obstacles. Freerider 2 is similar, but you're riding a bike in 2D on like this track. There are other vehicles, but it's mostly about bikes. And Freerider 2 is something that I wasted a lot of time on as a kid, especially like on school library computers. Kirby's Dream Course is like art inspiration for my game. I love the really saturated colors. And this is what my game looks like. You can see like very saturated colors. It's got like 3D stars that, or pink stars that move in like fake 3D. But it's got some differences. It's more like naturalistic with like brush strokes and stuff. This is something that I'm trying to do, which is a little different from what I've seen other games do. The release strategy is to turn one game into a series of games, rather than put all your eggs in one basket, pun very intended. The idea is that I have like a series of smaller releases so they can gain attention from people. Have 4 large commercial releases, but for each of those commercial releases have like multiple demos that are some are tiny, just like individual levels. And for these demos, I've started with charging it for the first month and then making it free after that. And we'll talk about how that went with the last one. Also a free level loader that allows people to play user-generated levels for free. Other games in the genre, like platformers with user-generated levels, like Mario Maker, for example, you have to buy Mario Maker to play anybody's level. But my idea with this game is, sure, you buy Single Feather, my game, but if somebody makes their own level, that's their level. And they get to share it with whoever they want, and they can share it for free if they want to. So you don't need to pay me. This is the first demo, Single Feather Demo Hatchling. I learned a lot, not least of which is not to use 3 different fonts in the same logo. I don't know what I was thinking with that. Oh yeah, my shirt, it's got like the same Single Feather text, just been updated since, but yeah. This is what it looked like, very similar, but it's, the art has just been touched up a bit in a lot of little ways. That's the QR code to the demo if anybody's interested. So what did I learn? One thing is that web games get way more plays than free downloads. I kind of don't trust, at least not on itch.io, at least personally, like just to find some random game and then play it, to have it not actually be a virus or something. But at least in the web, it's like, it's in a browser and there's certain safety features that they have. And also you can just click the button and play. So that was great for when the game became free, having many more people playing it. So I would recommend that. I also did a launch party with friends where we got together and we played the demo when it first got released. And that was great for just making it fun and not as stressful. It's more about making memories and having a good time. Yeah, like I said, charge the first month and then make it free. And an effective way to reduce stress is that I only decided on the release date for the demo after I had already made something that was basically done. And that's not what people normally do. They normally set some ambitious release date and then they develop really, really hard to get it to where it needs to be, and they're doing promotion at the same time, and then they fall behind and they have to push back the deadline. Whereas this is just, I have something that I feel comfortable and proud to ship. And then I spend like the next month or two, it was about 2 months at that point, between finishing and releasing, doing like promotion and then like any like little small improvements I wanted to do, but nothing big. It really made things easier. My last game, Seabird's End of an Age, it was more the other way, where I set a release date as an ambitious thing. I didn't blow past the deadline, but I came so close and I was really nervous leading up to it. And I say, like the bottom bullet point, I use the phrase seasons of your life, which I heard from some other developer once about game development, how there are different periods where sometimes you're doing a lot of development, other times you're doing lots of promotion, other times you're doing lots of maintenance and testing and whatnot, ideation and designing, bug fixes and testing, times for promotion, times for maintenance. If that sounds familiar, it's a little bit like Waterfall. Waterfall is dead, long live Waterfall. And these are more of the lessons learned. So most people only play for short periods of time, for this demo at least. Sometimes it would just be like less than a minute. They'd open it up and then go away. And then other people, it would be an hour or more. Charging money for a demo is really an uphill battle. Like, why am I paying for a demo? They're always free. So that was a challenge. And I'm thinking of the idea of rebranding a demo to it's just a small game. It's just a small game in a series, which is true. But that's also kind of what a demo is. Random people on the internet are also much better at my game than my friends and my family. I just go for people in my circle or like other game developers or whoever. Most of them are pretty not great at platformers, but random people on the internet will just go like bam, 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 level after level after level. Not all of them, but some of them it's just shocking. And then I got feedback about controls, wanting more variety in the art, and changes to levels and more variety and stuff like that. Oh boy. I think I can switch computers now if that's needed. Or not.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Just I'm going to send you a link
Oh, you will?
to open, no, just so I can get your screen on like you can send me your computer screen to my computer.
Okay.
Wireless via Wi-Fi using a link.
All right. I love it.
Yeah, it's magic.
What an age we live in. Yeah. That's the thing about going first is you troubleshoot some of the common problems. Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh, okay.
No. You have to, let's do this. Go to the internet. Actually, we'll do this.
Did that say Oh. Oh, I have to send you a link? Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then, whichever screen you want to share, you just have to, if it has audio, make sure you check off the box for audio.
Select window or screen. I select from there. Oh, okay.
You can select the
Entire screen is
too,
what I
and
want.
then,
That's just easier.
if you have the audio on too, then
Audio does not matter. Okay, I will do allow. Invalid state error. Get media display requires transient activation from a user gesture.
you can do it without them. You don't. Well, I'll have you send it to me after, and then I'll put it in. But you can just go ahead for now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a before and after of what the game looked like. Imagine a game that looks kind of crappy and amateurish on the left, and then one that looks awesome on the right. Just imagine it. Oh, hey, what the heck? Oh, that's a YouTube video. That's why it works. So that's what it looks like now. Back in the day, it looked very...
Or you can just request access, and then you on your computer.
But then it takes me to Google.
Yeah, and just request access.
Oh, literally, yeah. Okay.
And then you just have to go into your computer and accept that request.
Okay, awesome.
I probably should have said that from the beginning, maybe. Then that way everyone can see it too.
Yeah. What the heck?
And then you have to refresh, possibly, but.
Okay, I will share, and I will refresh. Okay,
Awesome.
so that's what it used to look like. There's an attack button that I got rid of almost immediately, and it's just quite rough around the edges, just to give a sense of how far it's gone. And holy crap, I've been working on this for almost 4 years. That's a lot, but it's been very on and off. Next, there we go. Here we go. Why? Why make a pixel platformer? It's 2024. Like, people have done this before. By the way, this episode of The Simpsons came out 3 years before I was born. And that's George Harrison of the Beatles. The Beatles is a band that formed 2 years before my mom was born. What? Love and enthusiasm. Simply, I just want to. And I can, so I will. I think they're fun. And I had this idea in me for a long time, and I really just wanted to put it out there and make it a real thing. People are familiar with them. Don't underestimate that. Like, people can pick it up and play it more easily than if it was some really weird game. Not that those are bad, but it is a strength of platformers is that people know how to play them for the most part. And there's so much potential for variety of gameplay. There's so many different types of platformers, and I feel like there's still a lot more to explore. And then the last point, which is really important, is they can be just absolutely tiny or they can be huge. And I wanted to start with a tiny core of a game and then gradually, iteratively, like rings on a tree, just slowly more and more and more and more layers onto it as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That was the idea. The core of the game is just, at its smallest, it's just you have a starting point, you run and you jump, and then you get to the end. But I keep adding more complexity and more layers to it, and that makes it kind of, I don't know, that's the way I want to make games. How do I make my game unique? It's especially important for a pixel platformer, but every developer has to ask this question. The premise being a duck versus a scientist. I've never heard of that before. Ducks are very cute, and some people have and will open it up or play it just because the premise is charming. I invested a lot of time into making beautiful and unique art with like a weird color palette and one that I think has a unique sort of look. The brush strokes with the pixel art and the high saturation of colors is just sort of its own thing. Someone can play user-generated levels without buying my game. Your levels are your game. There's no terms of service yet, but I'm going to make it extra clear when there is that you hold the copyright when you make your game. Levels are files that get exported from the game and can be shared however people want. I'm not creating a platform, so there's not like some server where people share and download levels that I make, not some special website or whatever. People can share them via email or Discord or whatever they want, which is kind of weird, but also cool. But being one person, I have to know my limitations, but it also kind of gives players a bit more freedom than they would for other games like this. Also, people's introduction to the game can be something like, my friend made this level and wants me to play it, so now I'm playing Single Feather. And that's quite different than how people generally discover games. I'm going to move on. Oh, crying out loud, I went backwards, not forwards. The level editor. So that's what it used to look like on the left, and that's what it looks like now. And it's extremely complicated. And the random advice I'll give is just don't make a level editor, don't release it unless you are like really, really committed to doing that. Because it's hard. Most people don't want to make levels. It's like, oh, cool, I'm running, I'm jumping, I'm playing levels as a duck. Do I want to make a level? No. Most people really don't want to. A lot of user-generated levels are bad. It makes your game way more complicated to develop. The user experience problems are very challenging. Your editor will have a steeper learning curve than your actual game. Like I said, people know platformers. They can mostly pick them up and play them. But level editors are pretty foreign to most gamers. Questions like controller support or with controller support, if you're naming the level, there's like graphical user interface keyboard that you press A, B, C, D to type on. That's annoying to make. Working with focused logic and keyboard navigation is a big time sink. If you want to spend all your time working on UI, it's usually some people's least favorite part of game development. And then, of course, you're competing with really big and very good games. But here's some ways that I mitigated these challenges, and they are really big challenges. One is quality and just putting so much effort and time and having really high standards, testing thoroughly and often, especially like usability testing with real people, and making it easy to learn is something that I've worked really hard on. Instead of you just opening it up and you have access to all these available tools, you unlock options in the level editor as you go through levels in the campaign, because there are those two components to the game. There's a campaign of levels that I make, and then there's a level editor. So you don't just get everything, you just get drip-fed these things, which will hopefully not overwhelm or confuse your players quite as much. It will still confuse them, at least sometimes, for some people. And it acts as frequent encouragement. You constantly unlock these things and get reminded, hey, you should try out the level editor. Hey, you should try it out now. How about now? And it teaches people how to actually interact with these elements that go into levels, because it's not Mario. We all know Mario. Well, we've all played Mario. We know what Goombas do. But my game with its own elements, people need to be taught how these work. So that's why I introduce all these elements gradually. I'm copying familiar software. That would especially be things like Paint.net or like MS Paint or Photoshop, Krita, different like image editing software. And then doing tons of usability testing has been so useful and important. Testing with a diverse group of people or types of people. Children, old people, men, women, people with disabilities and those without, people who play lots of games, people who never play games, but especially you want to test with people who like this kind of game, your kind of game. And then another way I've seen before, I've never done it myself yet, but for some of those games that I was inspired by is having level making contests, and then you give prizes out to the people who make the best levels. And so it can keep people engaged and having fun and give motivation to use the level editor. User experiences will vary from person to person so much. This is more lessons learned about usability testing. And again, that's part of why diversity is so important. People are just very different. And the more you learn that people's experiences vary, the more comfortable you will be with people disliking your game. It can be cringy and embarrassing and uncomfortable to show your game to people, but if you see that people are so different, having some people not like it sometimes will feel okay, given that people are different. The average person is not very good at platformers, I learned. Some people are great at them, but a lot of people are not, at least not in my social circle. And learn about the difficulty curve, what could be improved, ways to improve pacing. I even found some bugs. And then some people make suggestions that are really insightful, although not necessarily. Screw it, I'm not going to show this video. We'll move past that. But it's an audience question. I'm supposed to engage you. How does the video work? How does what happened here work? I'll just explain it. So there's a file in that video. It's a video, it's a screen recording of my computer. You see this file, it ends with lvl.png, and you open it up, and it's a screenshot of the game. It's just a screenshot of one particular level. It doesn't even contain all the content of the level, it's just some of it. And then I drag and drop that into the level editor, and then bam, it loads/generates that entire level that had that picture of it into the game. So a PNG file, a picture, had all the information in it to create the level that that screenshot came from. And the way that that works is you can secretly embed hidden metadata comments into PNG files, which has all the level data you need. So it looks kind of like a thumbnail for a YouTube video or something, and you click on a YouTube video and you get the actual video. This is kind of the same idea. You see a picture, which is like a thumbnail for a level. You bring it into the game, and then you see the whole actual game. But there's some problems with that. Remember how there's no platform for user-generated levels, at least no custom one? There's no special website or part of the game where you upload and download levels? Well, then people are left to their own devices on how to share levels that they've created, how to find other people's levels. So platforms that they might use are, let's say, Facebook, which converts those PNG files into JPEG files. Slack it'll keep it as a PNG, but it'll just get rid of that metadata that has all the level information just silently and without telling you anything. And Instagram is just, don't get me started. It's not meant for this sort of weird thing. Thankfully, Discord, which I think is the most important platform, works perfectly fine for sharing these sorts of levels for now. It's their platform, not mine, and who knows if they'll change how it works. Also, the user experience is really unintuitive. People don't expect this to be how an image file works. They need to be taught how it works. And so for all of these reasons, yes, it's cool. I like it. I think so anyway. I think it's cool. But for these reasons, JSON is the default file format that levels are saved as. And we're getting pretty close to the end here. What does the future hold for Single Feather? Let's just say I've got a few ideas up my sleeve. Oh yeah, that's the QR code to go to the Steam page if anyone's interested. So mid-September, there's going to be the next iteration of the series, the next like demo released, or like small game in the series, if we want to call it that. And then a month later, Next Fest begins, which is the Steam Festival for demos. And then the game becomes free. And then levels will be shared on the Single Feather Discord server with level sharing contests, I hope. But yeah, I don't know. It's quite a lot for one person. I forget what slides are next. There we go. That's the end of it. Hey, you can follow me on YouTube or on Itch. I really appreciate this opportunity, and thanks everyone for listening to my chat, those both in the audience and those online. Thank you.